Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today we're going to do a product video. So we don't have a lot of Gladiator videos on our website. We work on a crap ton of them at the shop. We have a lot of Gladiators come in here. We have a lot of people calling wanting to do lift kits. Some are wanting to do full-blown crazy stuff. Some are wanting to just do the bare minimum it takes to get like a 35-inch tire on there. We have a customer that wants to do a nice quality lift kit, doesn't want to go extravagant. They're not going to do any hardcore off-roading. They just want to be able to go do some light two-track and throw some 35s on their Jeep, maybe go do some camping, stuff of that nature. So to upsell a customer to some big crazy kit that they don't really need, it's kind of crazy. It's not doing any justice to the customer. So what we recommended is a Rusty's 2-inch basic kind of lift kit. It's going to come with all the necessities to lift it and do it properly and to get your geometry correct. The key to any of these lift kits in the new JL JTs is getting the geometry correct. There's a lot of substandard lift kits out there. They don't come with track bars. They don't come with lower control arms. At the bare minimum, control arm drop brackets, which by the way are garbage. That shouldn't be in any high quality lift kit. If any high quality lift kit is selling you control arm drop brackets, it's not a high quality lift kit. But it should at bare minimum come with lower control arms. So that they're adjustable and we can set that caster for our front axle. So we're going to go through and show you what comes in the Rusty's 2-inch kit, show you why we chose the things we chose, and why Rusty's chose the things he chose. This is the bare minimum to lift your Jeep safely and to get it to drive properly. And there's one addition that I'm going to show you that I add to all lift kits because it really changes the drivability standards of these new vehicles. So let's go over that and we'll show you what we're doing. All right, so this is all of the boxes. Gonna have all of our springs, all of our goodies, our shocks. So I'm just gonna set this up and kind of just start unboxing some of this. I'm not gonna bother videoing that because that's kind of boring, but I'm gonna unbox all this and then once I get all laid out here on the toolbox, I'll show you what all we got. So now that we have everything unboxed, let's go over this. So this is what I consider to be the bare essentials to do a like 2 to 2.5 inch lift on a JL or a JT. So we have lower control arms, adjustable. These have the new Rusty's rubber flex joint. We have front and rear track bars. He includes a front track bar brace. Is this required? Absolutely not. Do most lift kit companies include it? Almost none of them do. He includes it in every single lift kit because it is a weak point on the JL JT frames. It was super important to have this on the early production models because of some weld issues, which is not much of an issue anymore, but it's a really good place just to strengthen up the vehicle. His kits come automatically with lower spring seats because the stock spring seats are garbage. Front and rear sway bar links for the correct length. Comes with stainless steel brake line extensions. So nice little stainless steel brake line extensions. These are sway bar link brackets for the rear. They help strengthen up the rear sway bar. Front and rear springs. Look at that, more than one rate. Beautiful springs. RX 800 shocks. He does have an economy level shock, the RX 100, which honestly, bang for the buck, is an extremely good shock. But with the longer length of the JTs, I really like the RX 800s. I really like the RX 800s as well on the JLs. Unless it's a two-door JL, then I really like the RX 100. It just seems to ride a little better. One thing that no lift kit comes with, including the Rusty's, I sell this additionally, is the steering kit. I feel that anybody that's doing a lift kit on a JL or a JT really needs to upgrade the stock steering because it's totally garbage. So this Rusty's kit comes with every single thing you need. You can also get this with aluminum tubes as well if you want to spend a little extra money, or if you do a lot of hardcore off-road stuff, the aluminum's nice because it's more malleable. Comes with a track bar bracket. This goes by the track bar, and it's for raising the steering shock up above instead of being down below the steering. We added the RX 800 matching steering stabilizer. All of his new kits are shipping with these new clamps. So we're adding the full steering kit, RX 800 shocks, track bars, control arms, springs, links, and all the goodies need to lift and do this correctly. Now, I know I'm going to get a bunch of complaints. Yes, you can go buy your insert name brand spacer kit and install it. Yep, and you can do a 2-inch spacer and you don't have to add control arms and track bars. Yep, I'm aware, that's what they tell you. But then I will also tell you that I would say a vast majority of the lift kits that come in my shop that we didn't install, the problem is they didn't install control arms, so their caster's off. They didn't install track bars, so their axle's not centered, and it causes undesirable driving characteristics. So, can you buy cheap stuff and lift your vehicle? Yep. Is it gonna do it correctly? According to their instructions, it is. But I'm here to tell you, it won't be. Anytime you are lifting your vehicle, you need to adjust caster and make sure your axle's centered. If you don't have control arms and track bars, you're not doing that. So, food for thought. I don't care what brand lift kit you want to buy. There is a lot of good brands. There really is. And I know we do a lot of Rusties. It just seems to happen to be that way. But we do a lot of other brands as well. And they all have one thing in common. They come with control arms and track bars. Some do a raised rear track bar bracket to help with roll center. Not my preferred method, but not wrong either. But I think even if you're going to do an aftermarket raised track bar bracket, you should probably still have an adjustable track bar to make sure your axle is completely centered. I know there's varying degrees of acceptance on that inside of the industry that we're in, but that's my personal opinion of what I see works best here. So let's pull this Gladiator in and see how this stuff compares to stock crap. All right, so here's all the stock stuff. I already got this Gladiator up on the hoist. I'm gonna rip out the sway bar link, springs, shocks. Ugh, the shock is blown out anyways. Brand new shocks, blown out. Lower control arms and spring seats. Brake line extensions go right there. So Eric's gonna rip all this out and start putting some new stuff back in. So, new sway bar links are in, new steering is installed, track bars, or steering shock mount is installed, hole drilled. Not tight though, because the track bar is just loosely hanging here. We'll adjust that once we get on the ground. Lower spring seats, springs, made by IBOC, EBOC, I don't know, whatever you call them. Springs are installed, front shocks, lower control arms. We might have to do some adjustments on those when we go to do our alignment. So pretty much front is done, and we still got a pile of parts. So we still got to do the rear. That's next for this beautiful Gladiator. All right, rear shocks are installed. Track bar is hanging so we can adjust on the ground. Sway bar links are installed. The Rusty's Off-Road sway bar link bracket is installed. It helps strengthen that area up so we don't see failures here. We just bolted this in. They recommend to weld this if you're gonna be doing some hardcore off-road stuff. So if you're gonna be super abusive to your vehicle, you might wanna weld those. Being that we live in Michigan, we avoid welding that because of rust. So, all installed. So there's your bare essentials, in my opinion, to lift one of these and drive it correctly. Track bar, super key. In the rear, for this short of a lift, you don't need arms, but in the front, like we showed you, you do. You have to have this or you're never gonna get it to drive correctly. You might say, oh, but I don't have those and mine drives fine. Come drive one of these and I'll show you what a good driving Gladiator feels like. So, there you go, folks. A lifted Gladiator. Here she is on the ground. Lift is completed. Just a nice little 2-inch stance. The rear is just a smidge higher, but it'll settle. Alignment's all done. Steering's all done. Everything turned out amazing. So, there you go. if you're looking to do a lift on your Gladiator, you don't have to buy this brand per se, but make sure you get track bars, make sure you get lower control arms, or you're just wasting your time. So appreciate you guys all stopping by, and we'll see you next week. See ya.